Hello, everybody. I'm Michael Monaco.
And I'm Bobby Salveson, and we are the Hazmat Guys, bringing you the knowledge and insight to make your job a little bit easier.
Hello out there, and welcome to another informational Hazmat Guys podcast, where we sit down with the makers of all the toys that we get to play with and find out what the latest and greatest thing out there on the market is.
Yeah, and today we are with Nancy Otto from Rigaku Analytical Devices, and we're very excited to be here. Thank you very much for coming on the show today, Nancy.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here too.
Very nice, very nice. I love the name Rigaku. It's got to be one of the most interesting sounding names. It almost sounds like I'm ordering a sushi.
I know what you mean. There's a lot of people who have trouble pronouncing the name.
So what brings you on the show tonight?
Well, Rigaku Analytical Devices has a next generation Raman device that's new to the market, and I'm here to talk about it.
Fantastic, very cool. What I guess let's start off with really who you guys are.
Rigaku Analytical Devices is actually the U.S. subsidy of a larger company called Rigaku that's located in Japan. But Rigaku Analytical Devices, I want to highlight, is a totally U.S. company. We're located just north of Boston in Massachusetts, and that is where our manufacturing facility is, as well as all of our engineers, our software, all of our support system comes out of the U.S. But Rigaku proper has been around since for 60 years, roughly. And they are very well known for their benchtop equipment that they manufacture. And it was the next step in the process to bring in handheld detection equipment as well. And that was the plan of the company, the future. And so we started the subsidiary in Boston.
So you guys basically are taking the benchtop devices and now you're pretty much shrinking them down. Well, not shrinking them down, but you're making them more handheld, field usable.
Yes, handheld is the way of the future. Everybody wants smaller, lighter, more portable units. And this is a way of bringing laboratory quality instruments to the field where the actual samples need to be taken and analyzed.
So, if we have, a company's been around for 60 years, but you've really only kind of got into our field since 2011, why would we trust a company that's essentially in its infancy to make equipment and that may affect my life, that may affect my judgment of PPE selection or where I'm going to put the guys? Why would I trust you guys?
Well, actually, a lot of the companies, the well-established companies that are our competitors who have been around for many years, I would say have gotten stale in their advancements with the technology. So yes, we are new to the market, just specifically to the safety and security market, but the company is actually made up of the many years of experience of people that we have that have expertise in the field of Raman technology. So yes, the company is new in this market, but the people that compose Rigaku Analytical Devices actually have years and years and years of experience behind them. And so what we bring to the market is something new, something more advanced than currently what is accepted as a typical Raman unit.
So you guys are coming with the new broom sweeps the best technology. I like it.
So how long have you been in this field?
Personally, I've been in the field for the last 15 years in the safety and security market. But before that, I've got 25 years of research and development behind me as well, not only in developing new products, but also in the applications of all the different technologies, scientific technologies that are out there. So the progression for me has gone from all the technologies and then down to portable GC mass spec and then FTIR and now down to Raman is what I'm focusing on right now.
Right, so you've gotten to play with a lot of different technologies out there.
A lot of technologies, and also my involvement with this community, in the safety and security community, allows me to listen to the pain points, listen to the problems that are out there, and put my feet in their shoes and help guide the development of our software and some of our features on the product to make them more beneficial to the customer.
I love it. So, all right. So what is unique about this new progeny rescue Raman detector that we've been talking about? Me and Mike has discussed this detector many a times, compared to what a lot of the departments already have out there today. Where me and Mike work, we have one style, and it is not like this one. What sets it apart?
The most advanced feature of the rescue product is the fact that we use 1064 nanometer laser technology instead of the currently accepted 785 nanometer technology.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know that when it comes to Raman, that you have a choice in the type of laser that is used to develop the product. A lot of people have asked me why now? Why is 1064 available now and it wasn't in the past? The answer to that, the easy answer to that, is that the components that we use in our unit were not readily available up until the miniaturization of computers and cell phones, which made now the components readily available and easily gotten to. Whereas in the past, 785 was the tried and true technology. It was where most of the design and the components were established and readily available. Now, as we progress with technology, we have gotten the components more available for 1064.
So this 1064 laser, what benefit does it bring to me, and how does it compare with the previous? What makes it like the newest and greatest and latest thing that we should have?
Well, to answer that question, let me start with the tried and true, the 785 nanometer laser technology. That has a known limitation to its use in the field, and that is when you have a sample that has a color component or an impurity in it. It takes a long time to sample that due to a phenomena called fluorescence. Fluorescence is an interference with 785 technology that sometimes it will take several minutes, up to hundreds of minutes, for the analysis to be performed. And there are many times where you cannot get the identification made at all after waiting a long period of time. What 1064 does is it shifts the profile and the frequency of that laser. And even though the spectrum itself looks the same as the 785, it shifts it away from where the fluorescence occurs. And so now, every time you analyze something with our unit, it is less than 45 seconds for the analysis. So the biggest difference that a customer would see is in the time of analysis. And you all know, as when you've got somebody breathing down your neck or standing over your shoulder waiting for that answer, time is of the essence.
Listen, we all love it when it's around quitting time and the overtime is on the line. And we love when it says it's 99 hours until it gives you an answer. And we're like, no problem.
I'll wait for
that's
it.
an advantage of a long analysis time.
I'll wait. I love it. All right. I love that. That's great. So 45 seconds, just about every shot. That's really cool. And we all know that the water and discolored vials and baggies, that all defeated the 785. This isn't affected by the 1064?
No. Fluorescence is much reduced to a very minimal amount. And so as a result, our analysis are direct, and we can analyze something in a short amount of time.
So what are the drawbacks then? Give me that skinny right here.
The drawbacks, basically, it would be in the components. Probably one of the disadvantages of going to 1064 is that it's slightly less sensitive. So in the design, in the physical design of the unit, you have to overcome that reduction in sensitivity with the other components that you're using. So the detector is more advanced, and you are able to compensate for that loss in sensitivity. So there's no disadvantage of the 1064 in and of itself. that hasn't already been overcome by the design features.
But whatever it is in let's say form factor or whatever, you see in the future this thing getting smaller, faster, lighter, like the $6 Million Man kind of thing, right?
Exactly. And, always the push going forward and in the future will be to go smaller and lighter. Of course, when you do that, there's some disadvantages in even going smaller and lighter than that. You lose real estate in your display screen. For instance, when you have a very small device, the font size and all of your information has to be squeezed into a smaller screen size. When it's a small device as well, somebody could easily put it in their pocket and walk away with it. So, for every advantage there is to going smaller and lighter, and by that I mean with transportation and bringing multiple pieces of equipment on site easily, there are some disadvantages of going smaller and lighter as well. But I would say that going into the future, that most people would want to go in that direction.
I got to tell you, I am actually getting frustrated with the way some of the technology is going, because there are a couple of other meters out there, not necessarily Raman, but just in general, that have, in order to scale back and get smaller, have actually sacrificed the functionality and the library and their capacity. And I would much rather have a slightly larger meter that is able to do what I need it to do than something I can hold in my hand. But you guys, I've been able to play with this meter a little bit, and I got to tell you, it's not very big. I mean, it's a pretty decent size in my hand. It feels pretty good, and it has all the functions that I need. So please don't lose functions trying to get any smaller, because it is the perfect size for the function.
Exactly. I think that you would find that our instrument is more feature-rich in what it offers, as well as, a next generation in the technology itself. Rigaku was in their design of the product, very thoughtful in how it should benefit the user overall. And so added additional features and to make it more robust and more usable in the application of safety and security.
Nice. All right, so maybe this meter can help out with something that kind of irritates me greatly with Raman, right? We get the guys that come into the firehouse. They sit down with the meter. They break out this briefcase of samples, and they throw the samples in, and we're all like, ooh, wow, that's so cool, right? We get the meter, we throw it on the rig, and once we get out into the field, we notice that there is really limited success because most of the stuff that we're coming across out in the field is not a pure sample. Does this laser help with that at all?
Yes, definitely. 1064, like I said, is designed to be able to analyze not only impure samples, colored materials, through colored containers. And obviously anyone who knows Raman knows that the strength of Raman is the fact that you don't have to open up the container and expose yourself to a hazard to analyze what's inside the container. But the rescue unit does mixture analysis. It does a direct analysis. Like I said, there's no interference that you have to overcome in the software or due to the fluorescence phenomena. So ours is able to analyze a lot more samples than what you have typically seen in the past with the 785 units that are on the market. In regard to your question about being able to analyze more than what was in the sample kit that the salesperson brought in to demo it for you, what we do encourage is evaluations. We have, in almost every instance, when we go in and do a demo, we offer a head-to-head comparison with what they're currently using, or we welcome competitor units in so that we can run samples side by side. And I think that proves to a customer in its actual usage, using their samples and their situations, the value of the product.
When we get a new meter in, we pull out our own briefcase of samples, and almost inevitably the salesman rolls his eyes and goes, "Oh crap! These guys with these." We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of samples of just random stuff that we've accumulated over the years, and we put those meters through the test. And between us, and a couple of thousand people that are going to listen to this, is that this pretty much did a really, really good job from what we saw.
Yeah, I've been impressed with it so far.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, because I think that out of all the evaluations that we have done, I think it has proved exactly that we have more capability and more features that allow the customer to use our instrument a lot easier, that the software is very intuitive and very easy to use. But side-by-side comparison in just the speed of analysis is our real strength.
I love it. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit here. Recently, you launched something called 4C Technology. What exactly is this?
4C Technology is a software program and that we added to the unit last fall, which basically does this. It is monitoring in the background while you're running samples. So everybody else's Raman unit, Raman detector out there, you take it out and you run sample after sample after sample. But it's up to the user at that point to put all the pieces together, meaning that if you analyze acetone in one area of a warehouse and then 20 samples later, you were able to analyze hydrogen peroxide, for instance. You may not instinctively realize at that point that adding acetone to hydrogen peroxide would be two components of forming TATP. So in that situation, the instrument is monitoring in the background while you're analyzing individual samples and looking for components that when mixed together could create a bigger threat to the user.
Wow. Wow. That's actually pretty cool. So now you don't have to even have the nerd on the team. This is playing the nerd.
What are we going to do, Bob? Because we already know this, but if this meter does this, then we're out of a job.
Yeah, you know what? Don't buy this. Terrible. Bad stuff. No, that is amazing.
We like to look at our instrument as being built on many levels or tiers of understanding. So our software actually is built on 3 different tiers. The first tier is if you put it into the hands of a novice user, for instance, he may only be capable of running the sample, which is 3 taps of a button is all there is to running a sample. So it's very easy to use for him. But then the information that he immediately gets fed back to him is one basic screen that just gives the identification and the match factor to the library match, and whether it's a threat or a no threat, because it's a color-coded response. So he immediately can radio back or feedback that information, whether it's a threat or not, what the name is, and how close of a match it is. However, the second tier, you can progress from that screen if you want to, if you're a more advanced user, to getting to the second screen, and then that will give you more information. The spectrum, comparing the spectrum visually. You can manipulate the spectrum to bring up pinch and zoom, to expand it, to look for small details or differences. Bring up a cursor to line up where the actual wavelength is occurring on the spectra. So a lot of additional information. We even have a program on it where you can overlay a spectrum from the library onto your sample to verify or confirm an analysis if you wanted to do that. And then the third level, the highest level, of course, is being able to manually override everything on the unit and run it in specific applications if you want to do that. So a lot of functionality built into the unit and still make it easy and very intuitive to use.
Wow. So, all right. So because of this 4C technology and the integration of it, every meter has a finite set of things in its library. What has that done for your library since this integration?
Well, first, our library has close to 12,000 compounds in the library, and it's composed of narcotics, explosives, precursors for both, chemical warfare agents, toxic industrial chemicals, toxic industrial materials, narcotics, controlled substances, and pharmaceuticals. So it's a very robust library of what you can analyze. The 4C software uses an additional library, and that contains currently 135 threat recipes. They're recipes on how to make TATP, for instance, how to make a homemade explosive, how to make a narcotic, how to make a chemical warfare agent. These recipes have the individual ingredients associated with each recipe. So the system, while you're using it, is actually when you turn on the 4C software, you're actually monitoring for these ingredients or these precursors of how to make these threat recipes.
So when I go in for a session, let's say, incident 1, and I do 100 samples, it's looking to see if any one of these things are in the same recipe, and it says, wait, this guy's making, BHO or LSD or some type of narcotic. It'll start putting these things together.
And this is important when you're going in, say, a residential area or something where obviously if you go into a clan lab, you'll know probably that it's a clan lab of some sort. But sometimes when you go into a residential area and you're going through somebody's house and then you realize in the house they've got one ingredient, but in the shed out back they have ammonium nitrate, for instance, in bags. Mm-hmm. You've got to know that on site, on that location, you may have the ingredients to make a bomb, to make a homemade explosive. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they're doing. It's a predictive software that alerts you and warns you of the potential or the possibility that it might exist.
I absolutely love that. It's like B team ready. Me and Bob have gotten to play with this meter a little bit, quite a bit actually. We definitely enjoy it. There are definitely some other features of the rescue queue. Can you go into a couple more of them? Because I think people would definitely be interested to hear what else it has.
Right. One of the features that I particularly like is the fact that it has a 5-megapixel camera on board. I think in current operations, a lot of people tend to use their cell phone to take a picture, but of course there's no way to connect the pictures that they take on scene with the identification of the sample that they're analyzing. So with the rescue, having that 5-megapixel camera on board, it allows you to take a sample, analyze it, and then automatically embed pictures into that final report that now you're creating an evidence file rather than just an analysis file, if that makes sense. And by that I mean if you were in law enforcement, for example, and you stopped a suspect who was carrying a drug on him, you could take a sample of the drug, analyze it on the spot, but then to connect the dots, you can then take a picture of the suspect possibly holding the sample. You could take a picture of the car with the license plate. All of this information is automatically then in picture form embedded into the file.
Can I do selfies?
You can do selfies if you want, but everything stays. The unit is designed so that you can't tamper or alter or change the information once it's there.
What about the ergonomics and stuff like that? How do you find that people are responding to that?
The ergonomics of the unit itself is very well balanced. You can hold it very well in one hand and operate the buttons. Now there is touch screen as well as button control, and the touch screen is usable in blue latex gloves as well as black butyl gloves up to 12 millimeters. The button control, they made the buttons hard-sided edged buttons so that even when you're in the thick level A gloves, you can feel the sides of the buttons so you know what button you're pushing. A lot of manufacturers will put flat buttons on their units, and when you're in level A gear, with the big gloves, you have no feeling. And obviously the mask will steam up, and so you don't have that visual confirmation sometimes of what you're pushing as well. So having the hard edge side buttons is another asset to the unit when you're using it.
What about the display?
The display is a touchscreen display. It's a duplication of the button control as well as the touch screen. You can use either or at any time. But the screen is well lit and visible in the sunlight.
All right, so Nancy, in closing, we have two more big questions for your audience on behalf of them. What about your reach-back support?
Rigaku Analytical Devices, that is very big on our customer support package. And by that, the 24/7 reach-back support is 365, 24/7. You will get an answer or a clarification of the results that you're asking for at any time, day or night. But in addition to that, we try to add in as much support to our package as possible in the upfront cost of the unit, knowing that it's sometimes difficult to get more funding after the purchase. So the more that we can add to the customer support up front is where our goal is. So we offer 2 years of warranty with the product instead of the normal one that you would often get with other products. We also do free software upgrades and free library upgrades for the life of the product. And our reachback support, again, is free for the life of the product.
Very nice. So that's pretty brave because you're actually handing a very expensive piece of equipment to a bunch of firemen and saying, nah, don't worry about it. We're going to fix it for a couple of years. That's great. Now, we find a lot of times we get a product and within a year, within 6 months, it's obsolete because of software upgrades and things like that. You guys do anything special when it comes to upgrading software or keeping things up to date?
That is included free of charge, all the software updates to the unit. Basically, it's a very easy process as well. You receive a link in an email. So whoever the POC is at the site who has purchased the unit would receive this email, connect the unit up to the computer, and download the link. And it takes anywhere, depending on the size of the upgrade, from a few minutes to maybe 15 minutes. And that's all there is to it. The whole operation of the unit itself, obviously, is very, very easy to do. But that upgrade of the software is done not yearly. It's done whenever we have features or library updates that we feel should be pushed out to the user. So we encourage our customers to help us design the unit, the future of the unit, by giving us ideas of new features that they would like to see or new functionality that they would like to see. And we keep a running list of these and add them in. Last year we had 4 software updates during the year. And so it's not like we just wait till the end of the year and then just offer them. It is as they come up, as we get software or library updates as well, we give them to the customer
Awesome.
As soon as we get them.
So just to wrap this up, Nancy, anything you'd like to just throw in there before we say goodbye?
Well, thank you. I would like to thank you all for including us in your podcast and letting me talk about the unit. I'm very excited about it, and I think you'll find a lot of our customers share that view as well. But we will be at the Baltimore show. If anyone would care to visit us, we will be in booth 313 at the International Show in Baltimore coming up this summer. And certainly, if you would like to do like to schedule a demo or schedule an evaluation side by side with someone else, or just to get your hands on the unit and use it for a period of time, please don't hesitate to contact us at 855-785-1064, or you can go to our website and there will be information there as well. at www.rigaku.com/rescue.
Awesome. Thank you so
Very
much for
nice.
coming on today.
Guys, definitely check out this meter. It's a cool one. It's a neat company, and it's definitely, you're going to be seeing more as time goes on. So start researching these guys. They're a very cool meter. I would check it out. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Hazmat Guys.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel at The Hazmat Guys. And take a moment to call our comment hotline at 843-628-1484.
We are always looking forward to your feedback about information or interesting incidents that you were part of. So send us a note at feedback@thehazmatguys.com.
And remember, guys, don't just get on the job. Get into the job.